Hey guys, Terror YT second channel here. Today we are going to watch a video. So I got this video in my recommended while I was working on the recent the Mr. Beast video, how to clone Mr. Beast. Now this video is a bit of a Trojan horse. See, it looks like it's just a generic video talking about Mr. Beast clone, but you know, a lot of the video talks about other stuff surrounding that topic. And one thing I talk about in these two sections here is the idea that no matter how genuine someone pretends to be on YouTube, you can never get 100%. And I make this point using Ryan Trahan as a base. Everyone starts watching Ryan for the same reason. It's because of his video ideas and seeing a man do the insane challenges he does, and for his charisma on camera. But a lot of his fans stay for his genuine personality.
The version of someone you see through a computer screen will never be the same as actually talking to them.
So yeah, I basically make a lot of doomer points, especially in this this last section here. I make a bunch of doomer points about how people don't watch creators, they watch corporations and stuff. So I got a video in my recommended by this guy Womp, and I don't know who this guy is. I haven't seen any of his videos before. I haven't got any of his stuff recommended. The video with this thumbnail and this title in my recommended, it kind of annoyed me because here I was making this video about how YouTubers can never be truly genuine, only to get a video talking about how the old YouTube's back. Their genuine creators are back again, guys. I just wanna give a listen to this video and maybe give my thoughts. So yeah, that's the plan.
I have always been a huge fan of
I think
YouTube
old
videos.
YouTube is back. Okay, so by old YouTube, I don't, obviously he doesn't believe, he's not saying like, I think YouTube is as small as it was back in 2006, or I don't think the YouTube website, I mean, now it kind of does look like 2006, if you guys have seen the new ugly YouTube UI. But obviously I think the sentiment here is that old YouTube videos were characterized by their perceived genuineness. The people behind the camera weren't entertainers, they weren't content creators, they were just people in front of a camera talking.
I think there's something really...
Yeah, so I'm really curious to see how he thinks anything today is even reminiscent of that. Unless he's just falling for the parasocial relationship delusions perpetuated by YouTubers like Ryan Trahan, who they don't actually show any personality, but by playing their own online persona, they try to sort of front that.
Really special and human about seeing these real people just make something for fun and have it be celebrated across the entire...
Alright, respectfully, he's talking a little slowly, so I think I'm going to bump it up to 1.5.
That anymore. It became a business, it became much more corporatized, and YouTube developed their algorithm for...
And it still is. Hold on. Maybe I'm missing something, but from what I could tell, it still is. And maybe that's just my own personal bubble. Maybe your recommended looks different than mine. But generally, I'd say YouTube is more corporate than ever. I'd say that the only difference is that creators have gotten better at pretending that they're not as corporate as they are. They're skinwalking as real people.
It became much more corporatized, and YouTube developed their algorithm for promoting only the biggest and best videos that were going to get people to click and watch for as long as possible.
I mean, that's less, it's not just the biggest. The YouTube algorithm recommends the best videos, but they don't recommend the best videos, they recommend the best content. The types of videos people will watch the longest and be the most attached to. Before, it was theorized by the top people making YouTube videos that the retention editing would be the main thing, but it unintentionally became very corporate because you'd have these people you know, showing something off, and then you'd have the captions and the, you know, layers and layers of just fakeness added on top in a desperate bid to keep people's attention. But now, the new way YouTubers keep your attention is by trying to build like a personal connection with the audience. Because if the audience is emotionally invested, then they're going to watch to the end. That's the goal, at least. So that's why we're seeing people like Ryan Trahan, who are, you know, at least the front they possess, the front they show on camera, is a very, you know, charismatic guy who's simultaneously outgoing and willing to talk to people while also being introverted and shy, but in a cool way. He has social anxiety, but he's also cool about it.
Like there's always been a disconnect between the content that's most engagement worthy and the content that's actually enjoyed the most.
Yeah, I agree with that. Rarely ever does it recommend the best videos, unless they're going to be the best videos you watch. And that's why big channels like MrBeast and the MrBeast clone, the reason they're as big as they are is because they make content that works with a general audience. While something like the content I make only gets about 100k views per video, which in its own isolated bubble is a lot, but in the greater context of the amount of users on YouTube, it's very small.
All that wholesome Wild West era of YouTube where it was just anyone posting, anyone could go viral at any...
I mean, the Wild West sort of allure of old school YouTube isn't back in the slightest. Unless you're counting shorts, but I don't think anyone likes shorts. And even then, it's sort of like if old school YouTube came back in this dystopian, altered way, where despite having similarities, like people on YouTube Shorts tend to blow up from one thing and then they're forced to do that one thing for the rest of their careers. That is a constant with old school YouTube. That's a comparison to draw. But old school YouTube, it was less financially motivated. And you could argue the same thing about shorts too. You don't make that much money off of shorts. Yet the whole appeal of shorts isn't in the money department. It's in the fact that if you get popular with that one thing over and over again, that one thing is going to lead to an inflated sub count and potential clout you could wave around on Twitter.
Moment doing things like making a dumb comedy sketch with their friends or just talking to the camera about their life. That's not the type of stuff that went viral anymore. But recently I've noticed a shift in the types of content that YouTube's recommending to me and lots of other people, and I know that I'm not the only one that's noticed this because this video is actually inspired by a couple other videos I watched recently. One by Bonby where he talks about MrBeast and him
I've not seen that video.
Coming out and saying that he's putting an end to the overstimulating era on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, you can argue that it's the end of the overstimulation stuff, but this doesn't mean that YouTubers are going to be any more genuine or real. They're just going to put up a different front. They're just going to pretend to be like real people. But MrBeast has said it in videos before. He said it on podcast appearances. He doesn't show his actual personality in videos because if you have a real personality, people will get mad at that and they won't like you for that reason. So he's had to turn himself into a caricature, into a self-insert the audience could put themselves behind. Just because there isn't as much swooshy transitions anymore doesn't make it any more real.
Down the pace of his videos a little bit more, and his engagement has actually gone up since doing that. And then a video by the Minecraft YouTuber Fizzy Banger, which I never was really into Minecraft content, despite appearances. This is not a phenomenon that's just specific to me or a very specific community.
I have had similar Minecraft gameplay videos in the recommended. One of them was it was like a Minecraft YouTuber who made a video called like I feel like I failed at life. And while that particular video did well, the issue is that in the long run his career seems to have just flatlined. 2,000 views, 20,000, 10,000. These are all less than his sub count, and his sub count isn't even all that high. He's not in a good position in general. Just because one video did really well. He quite literally peaked with his first video, and since then he's been trying to attain that height.
Even within the Minecraft community, there is a push to go back to the old way of doing things.
Yeah, in the Minecraft community it's even worse. I mention it in the video, and I bring it back at the very end. But something you'll notice with a lot of the channels is that they have like 1 million, 2 million, 500k, and then the amount of videos they have is only like 10 to 20. I've seen Minecraft channels with millions of subscribers only have like 10 10 videos or less. There are a lot of reasons for this. It's because Minecraft is such a big thing, and a lot of these guys are following the exact same, very specific blueprint for success, and I visualize it in the video. Minecraft YouTube suffers a similar case as the Mr. Beast ripoffs, where they just come off as really desperate. Constant jump cuts and text on the screen, and again, like the swooshy transitions. And I feel like a lot of people can also point the finger at me. I've done fairly high stimulation looking videos. I did a video about TikTok, and the style of the video I go for is very like high stimulation. It's almost to simulate what it would be like watching TikTok. So it's very overpowering on the viewer's eyes.
The application, no.
The difference between this video and the Mr. Beast stuff is that this doesn't come off as desperate. There's a difference in intent. My goal with editing is to show the viewer something cool. I want to show off something impressive. In a Mr. Beast or in a, God forbid, a Matthew Beam video, the editor does not care. The editor is following a very specific set of rules to make the most watchable video possible. The goal shifts from show the audience something cool to trick the audience to subconsciously watch the video longer.
But the algorithm's recommending it, and the viewers are connecting with it more than ever.
Well, the viewers may connect for one video, but as I showed earlier, it's not a long-lasting thing. Because I say this in YouTube Kids, but the algorithm, eventually, it will just recommend the viewers what they really want, because that's the whole point of the algorithm. It's to keep people on the website for longer, as you seem to be aware of. But maybe you're not aware of the greater picture with these channels.
To this same general trend that I've noticed in just about everything on YouTube.
Yeah, just like these examples, your personal recommended is your own bubble around you. The algorithms picked up that you'd be more willing to watch, admittedly, like lower quality videos, not in the sense of like audio quality, but in like, it's worse content in exchange for being more emotionally resonant. And the algorithm could pick that up in your, how long you watch each video. The algorithm knows what you'd be willing to look at. And because of this, you are getting recommended more of this sort of stuff than the average person on YouTube. Because the majority of users on the site are children, have the most free time, they watch the most videos. There's a reason Baby Shark is the most viewed video on the website, okay? And it's not adults watching this, unless you're counting parents playing it for their children.
Things are slowing down, becoming more real, more authentic, and
so
YouTube's
the majority of YouTube users are still going to watch that sort of slop.
actually sharing those videos now. I mean, I think it's wild that Mr. Beast of all people, probably the face of overstimulating content on YouTube, that's the guy that is now saying, I'm not making overstimulating videos anymore.
Yeah, he's received the criticism, and people have, and he's adapted because of it. People are adapting to the change because they're longer Mr. Beast videos. Who wouldn't want to watch more Jimmy every week, right? If you had to make the decision, Mr. Beast's budgets have consistently just been going up anyways. I feel like the longer videos do provide more revenue, more room for advertisements. The videos will make more money as an extension. Not to mention, the viewer gets 40 minutes of content a week instead of 13 minutes. It's a net improvement on all boards, regardless of how overstimulating the content is. It just makes more sense from a financial business standpoint.
A bit. Focus more on storytelling and building characters and actually letting people see the impact of what's going on to them as human beings.
I think that's more of a personal preference than a return to old YouTube. Giving something time to breathe is a stylistic choice. You could still have high quality, high production value editing without stooping to those levels. Mr. Beast's 45-minute long video, for example, that is a video that, despite being less desperate, it still has really high quality editing, because it's still a Mr. Beast video at the end of the day, and it is stimulating to the normal extent, as well as having the emotional impact of the story. And even then, storytellers aren't what old YouTube was. Old YouTube was, like, there were probably some people who told stories on old YouTube. This here is what top quality YouTube looked like in 2007. There was a story here, but it was like an actual real story in like, you know, his actual reaction to something happening in his actual life. And that's what made it so alluring to so many people. Here, the stories are still, you know, they're set up in a way that still feels kind of corporate.
Understimulating YouTuber who's making a push to save YouTube and authenticity.
Did you just say Mr. Beast was an understimulating YouTuber?
For him. I mean, that's not to say that Mr. Beast should now be looked at as the understimulating.
Okay, no, that's okay. I was very worried about that.
To look a little bit deeper into why this change is happening.
I've already sort of went over the benefits of longer videos. You get more ad revenue, more time to let a story breathe, more people, like more time for people to get more attached. The reason why television shows have become more popular than movies in a lot of ways is because television shows are longer. You have more time to associate with the characters and to watch them grow and evolve over time. While with a movie, you're watching something for 2, maybe 3 hours at most. You have just a ton of time, and even TV shows are getting longer too. The standard TV show episode used to be 22 minutes. Now, each Invincible episode is like 45.
That these videos just naturally began to do better and better. Is this maybe the first example of having the community
I don't think it is. As I stated earlier, your own personal YouTube recommended is sort of a bubble. The only reason I got recommended this 1.8K video by less than 1K sub channel is because I like to watch a lot of small YouTubers. I like to, you know, watch and support people who are on the coming up. And I do believe that the reason why this video is recommended at all was because I was working on a video about Mr. Beast clones with very similar subject matter to this video.
About algorithms and AI determining what creativity and art is and what we're gonna see till the end.
It still is even worse with YouTube Shorts because you don't even get to choose the content. You only get to choose one video and then let the algorithm take you away into eternal bliss.
But I've always had some kind of hope that as real people, we can make a larger
real people. Just put that in quotes. Maybe move that to the corner of the screen, okay? Please let me know, dear viewer. Where are the real people, the real YouTube people shown in this video? Is Mr. Beast a real person? No, he's a caricature, and so are most very popular YouTubers, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that. It's still content at the end of the day. I just feel like it's really weird that so many people are willing to just embrace the weird parasocial shit on YouTube. People like Dream are willing to like sell baby pictures of themselves to satiate that demand, which is just, it's weird. How does no one seem to have a problem with that?
The people are making more of an impact on this sort of YouTube trend.
The people being Mr. Beast's team of businessmen behind the scenes at the company table. Alright, part 2. So I'll be honest, I've seen maybe the first 5 minutes on my own, okay? I have not made it this far because the first time I watched it I got so annoyed that I just clicked off. And I decided, you know what, I think I'll just react to this and put it on Terror Second channel. So I'll old man YouTube. Alright, let's see.
I think people are finally starting to become fatigued from the overstimulating era on the internet. I mean, don't get me wrong, that stuff still does very well.
Here's the thing, a lot of people commented this on Mr. Beast clones, but if you don't like overstimulating content, then don't watch it and you'll probably not be recommended it. And on one hand, there is some merit to this. Even, fun fact, before making the Mr. Beast video, I didn't get most of these guys in my recommended. I discovered most of them, you know, after coming up with the idea to make the video. But that doesn't make it any less of an annoyance, and not to mention, the main takeaway from the video was the other external factors around that issue of plagiarism and of genuineness. There's no such thing as a genuine YouTuber, okay? Even me, okay, I talk about this point in How to Clone Mr. Beast. But the version of me you're watching is completely different than the version of me that's there now, okay? I say it.
The version
See, it's a little more impactful in the video because this is a really polished video essay with a lot of high quality editing, and you should probably watch this.
Someone you see through a computer screen will never be the same as actually talking to them. On video, you only ever see someone at their best. Hell, the version of me writing this script at 10:30 a.m. on April 21st is different from me narrating this on the 22nd at 9:46 p.m. And
yeah, like I try to be as genuine as possible in videos, and that includes calling out stuff that I find weird, like this whole parasocial, just ignoring the whole parasocial problem on YouTube. Some could argue whether it's a problem to begin with. I would argue it is, because you're hanging out with your fake friends instead of your real friends. Like, I feel like that's a little weird. Why do people put YouTube creators on such high pedestals? It just, you know, it doesn't compute. Instead of viewing these people as gods, maybe you should view them as peers. You should become the YouTuber. But instead, a lot of people would rather just continue worshipping.
That me is already most definitely completely different from me now that you're watching this video. You're watching a version of myself that's perpetually out of date, and that's just the nature of YouTube content.
Yeah, speaking of out of date, I'm currently recording this at 12 a.m. on the 3rd of May. So the version of me you're watching right now is also outdated, even though it's not edited as well, because this is a second channel. I'm still not 100% genuine. I'd say my genuine meter is like, in videos, I try to be as genuine as possible, but for like a highly edited guy who doesn't show his face, I'd say I'm maybe like 60% genuine in a YouTube video. I don't talk with my normal talking voice. Even now, I'm not talking normally, because what do you even define as genuine, right? Like, is the only time I'll ever be truly genuine to myself is when I'm alone with no one around. If my mom is talking to me, I'll talk in a different way than my friend, and I'll talk with my friends a different way than I talk to myself, because I do that sometimes.
Being yourself is great, but the model I like to use is just be the version of yourself you want to be.
Yeah, I think that's the whole point of YouTube content, because on stream, you're forced to sort of be yourself in real time. That's why streamers build such a different parasocial relationship than YouTuber. But where YouTubers shine is that we have the power of like video editing and scripting. I'm able to manufacture a version of myself that does videos in a way that like I wish my brain could do in real time. Like, you're pretty much getting a window into my brain and my thought process. The main takeaway is that, you know, on YouTube someone isn't truly genuine, because you're always going to be a better version of yourself. And even here, this is still an edited video, even if it's not edited particularly well and kind of rushed. And I imagine a similar thing is here with Mr. Womp here. He's not going to be exactly the same in person as he is in videos, because the video process, and even if he hypothetically was, the video process takes so long that by the time it's out, you'll be a different person than the you making it. You'll change ever so slightly, and that change only goes more over time. There is no such thing as a genuine YouTuber.
Like, it's found more of a home on TikTok and the YouTube Shorts page, and that's sort of pushed YouTube, willingly or unwillingly, into being the old man platform.
I mean, I do generally agree.
Something of a break from the bombardment of in-your-face, bang-bang entertainment, and just sit back and listen to a real person talk for a while. YouTube has actually started to...
I mean, you had me in the first half, but you kind of lost me with real person.
Being killed off completely and just becoming a lesser version of TikTok, even though they did already kind of try that with the YouTube Shorts feed. Now the...
Well, they didn't just try that, they're still actively shilling it to everyone. I'm not sure if there is an algorithm change, or if it's just a general change in the priorities and creators. This is still a really early thing. I think it's way too early to say old YouTube is back. It's too early to say, because we've only seen a handful of examples. We've seen some creators who got lucky with one video and then immediately faded off into obscurity. And we've seen Mr. Beast do this with one video, maybe two. Yeah, we've seen Mr. Beast do this with 2 videos. I don't think that's enough to quantify the statement.
With, and in some ways take over traditional TV, is exactly what's keeping it alive now, as TikTok has started to take over.
Well, yeah, it's because TV fucking sucked. There are similar reasons why TikTok could hypothetically overtake YouTube. But the same reasons YouTube killed television. If we look at the hierarchy here, television had so many ads. You'd get like 5-minute long ads every like couple minutes, while on YouTube you get a 5-second skippable ad every like maybe 2-3, depending on how greedy the content creator is. But on YouTube, they're hammering down on ads. Once TikTok eats more users away from YouTube, the platform's going to get more desperate to make its money back. YouTube as a whole is still completely up for debate whether it's even profitable for Google. The reason Google kept YouTube alive, even while it was losing money every year, was because of the platform it provided for like advertising and just cultural relevance.
And that is the authenticity of it. Like that ability to just hear real people talk for a while. That is ironically what both TV and TikTok are missing. Whether it's...
No. Need I elaborate? I mean, I've been talking this whole time about how YouTubers can't be genuine people. I've never seen an actual genuine YouTuber. I've seen people pretending to be genuine. I've seen people skinwalking, but clearly you've just fallen. You've just fallen for the YouTubers. You've been tricked by the fake parasocial relationships.
Opportunity for people to just sit back and talk for a while, or whether it's TV's big budget scripted productions that inevitably are going to lose.
Really big budget productions. I can't think of a single genuine YouTuber who has big budget productions. That's just crazy. I can't think of a single big budget production. I can't think of a single one, guys. I can't think of a single one. Oh my god, guys. Big budget productions. And even without big budget, right? Why are you pretending like YouTube doesn't have quality? Clearly, even you've put effort into your camera set. You are not Dax Flame being humiliated after Superman didn't come to his school. You've clearly put effort into your set design and your lighting and your camera setup and your production value. You're just like fucking everyone else. You're just like me. You're just like Jimmy Beast. None of us are genuine. Because we're all trying to just be cooler than we are, and I'm on it. The only difference is that I'm the only one who's honest about it. I'm not pretending like it's otherwise. That's the only difference between us. Womp.
Lose some level of authenticity as they go through dozens upon dozens of writers and directors and actors. YouTube is capitalizing.
The biggest YouTubers are all teams. I'd hate to bring up my own video again, guys, but people do not watch creators. They watch corporation. Authenticity is dead because creators are dead.
People don't watch creatives anymore.
They watch corporations.
And YouTubers aren't getting any less corporate with this change.
They're only getting better at pretending not to be. God, this video needs more than 70k views. This video should be seen by everyone. This is a genuinely important message to be shown to a general public. But no, instead of, going mask off and, explaining how the system works, instead, people are going to get Jimmy Beast videos recommended where they could pretend like he's a real person and not a boardroom created fictional character. Jimmy Donaldson is dead. Jimmy Beast is the only one who's allowed to keep going.
And now it's thriving again with real, unscripted, authentic content. And I mean, that's not to say that both...
Bruh, I can guarantee you wrote a script for this video. And if you didn't, if you're like me, that with this particular one, then you're blind. There are so many videos on YouTube that are scripted, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? I've mentioned it a handful of times. There's nothing wrong with enjoying any of this. You could watch the brain rot content. It's fine. There's like, look, I do it. I make scripted content. I don't think I'm entertaining when I'm off the cuff, unless there's a ton of editing behind it, which I'm gonna have to do for this video later. There are so many good things that can come out of a scripted video. All of my videos for the last 3 years have been scripted, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think that makes me less of a creator because of it. I think it makes me more of one, if anything, because I'm doing more aspects. I am the one person behind every single one of my videos. I'm not completely genuine because no one can be. That's fine. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that, so I don't know why you're pretending like YouTube is so different now. Like, you do realize that despite a lot of popular YouTube being generally unscripted, it's still scripted. It's still connected by a greater narrative that the creator goes back and implements later. Even my own personal favorite creators write scripts. My favorite content on YouTube are video essays. You can't make a good video essay without a script.
Forms are worse or invalid because of that. I mean, YouTube ended up having the exact same problems as both these other platforms, like in the early 2010s, when they shifted towards doing these bigger budget scripted productions so that they...
You're so close to developing self-awareness. If you can recognize that YouTube Red is more corporate, is more high quality, then why are you also not able to turn around and look at Mr. Beast, look at ZHC, look at fucking Matthew Beam, and all these other giant channels that have a team of editors, a team of thumbnail designers, of tag adders, of algorithm researchers? YouTube as a whole is more corporate than ever. It's just that now they don't have a logo disclosing that it is. I don't know what this guy's dig against television is. I guess maybe he doesn't like documentaries. You know, JCS does some pretty cool stuff. Explore With Us, but the Explore With Us is a company, but like they make good content and they're not pretending like they're not one. I think corporatized YouTube is fine so long as you admit it. You can still watch Mr. Beast. He's not pretending to be a real guy. Ryan Trahan, he kind of is, but Mr. Beast isn't. He's very open about the fact that his videos are content, that they're impersonal. You have the polished lighting, you have the HD quality. You know, if you really wanted to fit with that retro YouTube aesthetic, you would have uploaded this in 240p and 4:3 aspect ratio, just like YouTube used to have. But no, because even you are subconsciously or not acknowledging that YouTube has changed, and you're also changing with the times, so I don't understand why you're pretending otherwise. Little Guy's Encore. Okay, let me guess. Okay, let me do a grand guess here. He's gonna say something along the lines of like, small channels are doing good on YouTube, as if that isn't something that's happened back in 2020. People get successful on YouTube every day. A new channel hits 1 million subs probably every day, or at least almost. Because of YouTube Shorts, more 100K channels are existing than ever. Growing on YouTube for the little guy is perfectly fine so long as you know how to make a good video. Like, I just want to say this right now, the reason this video isn't bigger than it is specifically because it's not good content. You can't watch this for, like, I got bored and clicked off at like 5 minutes, also out of anger and stuff. This video is literally just a guy talking in front of a camera, and I feel like there's a fine line between like ADHD brain rot and then also just actual standards. My goal in creating content, a lot of YouTubers have like a secret ulterior motive to make money or whatever. Mine is that I want to subconsciously increase my viewers' standards, because making high quality videos for so long has raised my own standards. I want my viewers to watch videos that are either on par with my level of quality or better. I want people to watch and reward better videos. It physically pains me to watch videos like this because I don't get any visual interest. I'm not seeing anything interesting. There's nothing cool on the screen. There's a couple paintings I could look at that are out of focus.
A little bit more. I think the bigger, more meaningful impact that this sort of cultural shift on YouTube is starting to have is bringing up some of those smaller creators.
Don't pretend like smaller creators had it so bad before, okay? New channels are popping up every day, including yourself. You showed up in my recommendations. And, you know, if you made this video a while ago, I mean, it wouldn't have applied anywhere near as well, and it still doesn't really apply now. That's why this video kind of annoys me. Other channels are able to get popular. Chazington made his first, like, super popular video like a year ago now. And I got popular. I hit 100K in 2021 with videos that aren't overstimulating. They aren't desperate. And maybe you could argue we're exceptions to the rule. I'd argue that once you know what makes a good video, once you have the experience of growing, you just sort of have that knowledge. It's like a sixth sense. I could tell when a video does well and when it does bad.
Real content, and now they're finally getting recognition for it. And personally, I've seen this happen in a number of different ways.
Explain.
Recently. I mean, that
Give an
Minecraft
example.
YouTuber making videos just talking over gameplay for one.
That was like, okay, I don't know about any of the other guys, but the one I watched has literally fallen off already. He peaked with his first video.
But personally, what's been showing up a lot in my recommended feed recently are acoustic guitar and ukulele covers.
I have not had a single one. That is a very personal experience because the algorithm knows that's what you like to listen to.
In my homepage for years upon years. But for whatever reason over the
perhaps maybe you want to play ukulele yourself. I don't know if that's something you have interest in. Maybe you've Googled it at some point. Maybe you've listened to a song on YouTube Music that uses a ukulele. So the algorithm picked up on that interest and now it's recommending you ukulele covers. I don't know how that got into your recommendations, but so long as you continue watching them, the algorithm's going to keep pushing it because it's the best content it can find for you. You've proved nothing with this point.
Used to see get big on YouTube in 2010. I mean, I remember there were people like Justin Bieber and whatever, people that would get famous off of their YouTube guitar covers. And I feel like I haven't heard any stories about that in the last many years. Probably because of just the shift on YouTube that's gone towards bigger budget, overstimulating content. And
it's not even just okay. That I feel like that's disingenuous a little bit. It's not because of a shift for overstimulating content. Overstimulating content is like an extra factor that's not related to this specific tangent. I believe that the reason why you're not noticing these, first of all, you've expressed that you've never been interested in this content until now. Okay, so obviously nothing like that got into your recommended. And two, again, there's a very interesting line between audience standards and overstimulation. Would you consider my videos to be overstimulating because I put effort into visualizing things? I wouldn't, personally. I don't think it's overstimulating. I think it's high effort. And there is a difference there. Overstimulation tends to be a lot more desperate feeling, but that's subjective, I suppose. Everyone gets small videos and they're recommended, and if they watch them, they'll get more. Just yesterday, I got a fucking commentary video by some 90 sub YouTuber about a drama I was not familiar with, and I watched it anyways, because I like commentary YouTube. I think it's quite entertaining, even when the channel is small and doesn't have an existing audience. Even when I don't personally care that much, I watch it anyways, because I think it's funny.
And really connect with their content. But on nearly a nightly basis over these last few months.
I think that's just the nature of smaller channels on YouTube. The nature of small channels is that they're going to be about more niche topics, and you're going to resonate more with these niche topics if they cater to you better. But at the same time, as a channel grows, channels with under 500k tend to be more interesting than channels with over 500k. And I think that's because once you make it to the 500k range, you're pretty much ready for 1-2 million at that point. You've been on YouTube for so long that you've gotten used to the algorithm. You know the building blocks of a successful video, and because of that, there's no reason to ever leave those building blocks, to ever leave that guidebook that is set by bigger YouTuber. You'll follow their coattails and make nothing original, and it will work because it appeals to the most people. More niche stuff, on the other hand, doesn't appeal to as many people, but the people it does appeal to enjoy it more.
It's really nice to see these little homemade YouTube
You've discovered what a niche piece of content is.
music videos that almost always start with the person turning on the camera and they end with them turning off the camera. These are unpolished, unedited, unscripted videos. You can hear the personal basis. The last video I posted, titled, "I Can Never Replace the Small Things." I was convinced that would flop. I thought no one was going to watch this. I posted a 42-minute long video of me rambling on my roof.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to have some sort of production value. It has 2k views in a month, which, I mean, I imagine for his own standards is pretty good. I get videos like this recommended all the time. It's a lot of videos, like I get a bunch of Sneeko ripoffs. I get like fake motivational channels that pretend like they're saying something substantial while only giving you really, really basic advice. Like 2k views is quite a lot for a channel with no one, but it just means your videos are getting recommended.
Low paced
to someone.
And I'm happy to see that when I pushed myself to take this next step and make something that was a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more old school YouTube, without feeling the need to spice it up as much with exciting, fast-paced editing and silly jokes and whatnot. It's probably the most authentic thing that I've made on a channel where I've always strived to be authentic. And
see, here's the thing. You sort of you cultivate a specific type of audience that will watch your videos, right? If I released a video that was me talking in front of a camera, just with no editing, no one would watch it. And I feel like a general audience probably wouldn't either. The difference is that if you do cultivate an audience like that, an audience that would be willing to watch hour-long videos, someone like Nikocado Avocado, who does these hour-long mukbang videos with largely unedited, aside from like shills for his cameo. But someone like Nikocado Avocado has cultivated this audience of like 1 million people who are willing to watch him eat food for an hour with minimal editing. And that's just what he does. It's all about the audience you cultivate.
See that people connected with that too. So for myself, for the...
Okay, on God, do 100% agree. I would make these newer videos 1 million times if it means that it'll continue getting this sort of reaction. Even though the algorithm doesn't like pushing the more genuine stuff, I will continue making stuff in that style Not all the time. Something very jading I've had to learn over the years is that whenever I release my most personal video, it doesn't do well. 67K is like abysmal by comparison. No one is going back and watching this video. I instead adapted. I made more mainstream video ideas with the same improvement in editing. And now I'm at a point where I feel like I have a big enough audience to where I'm okay with taking off the safety net every once in a while. I will release these more personal videos, and because I have a more dedicated audience, people are still willing to watch them. Not as many, mind you, but people are still willing to watch these videos, and I do appreciate that a lot.
Saying, oh, I always want to be honest. It's not just that anymore. It's people actually connecting with and finding that content more, and YouTube beginning to recommend.
How do you define honesty? Sorry if that's a little too psychology major bullshit. Do you believe you ever can be truly honest with someone? Do you really think you could drop the guard in every sense of the word? I don't think you can. I think there's always going to be a line.
To the point where YouTube as a site is changing. And changing for the better. It's becoming more of what it used to be, what made it special in the first place. And that's really exciting for me, as someone that loves those videos and loves to...
The issue is that Womp is a small channel, so maybe his own view of the system is a lot more narrow than he'd expect. Maybe this is just something that's happened because I've grown on YouTube. I've also grown up as a person. I first got popular on YouTube. My first popular video was in 2020 when I was 13 years old, and I've only grown since then, both physically, mentally, and in terms of my subscriber count. So maybe it's because I'm a bigger creator and that's the wisdom I'm seeing, but I see the system from a different angle, and it's not looking as good as he's believing. And I'm not sure whether he's just lying about it or whether he himself has fooled himself into he's tricked himself into believing it with an echo chamber of recommended videos with a handful of views. It's tricking him into believing that the website is as tight-knit as it was, when in reality he's just discovered niche YouTubers. Like, maybe I'm just jaded, but I don't believe that the top YouTubers are genuine, because they're not.
And I'm really happy to be here for that now.
You know, with the added context of my response to this ending seems a lot more somber. It seems a lot more, like, depressing. It's one man almost trying to fool himself into believing things are better than they really are. And I'm not sure whether his ignorance is, I'm not sure whether it's, like, inspiring, like, whether it makes me happy, or whether it's just kind of depressing. Either way, I think I'll leave off with that.